Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Adam, how's it going? How was the weekend?
It's going well. The weekend was good. We got out of town for a little bit on Saturday, went to Harper's Ferry and did a little tubing up in that area.
Nice.
So it was nice to enjoy the weather.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was good. How about you?
I can't complain really. It was a good weekend. It was
Good,
a good
good.
weekend. Well, I'll let you and Chike take away movie reviews.
Sure thing. So I first wanted to start off with The Five Bloods, which is a movie that Chike reviewed last week, and
Loved it.
yeah, and I actually was surprised. I was not a big fan. It had excellent acting. I think Chike, you were right. The action scenes were a little lacking. I, I like a lot of Spike Lee movies, and this one I felt like we didn't get enough character development. Besides the two main characters, I felt like we never really learned about the rest of the other vets, and the dialogue kind of was a little bit hit or miss. The editing was a little off. Um, I think it was still a good movie in the end. There's a good story there. 2.5 hours though, definitely felt like we dragged along a lot at the beginning to get to where we got at the end, and overall, it's definitely it's a Netflix movie. If you got Netflix, check it out. You won't feel disappointed. But I was just hoping for a little bit more about kind of the background of everyone and a little bit more about the characters and their interaction with each other. Um, but I'm glad you liked it, Steven. And
Yeah,
yeah,
I did, but I will say it was long, and so I started Saturday night, watched an hour and a half of it, and then finished the last hour last night. So it was a long movie, but I thought it was good. I mean, how much action y'all want? They're old men.
yeah, and it was interesting to watch. The flashbacks. Spike
Yeah.
kept it
I
with.
like the fact that they had them playing themselves as the younger version of them because
Mhm.
you didn't have to guess who was who. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly, exactly. And everyone's, one thing everyone says is Delroy Lindo definitely deserves a nomination for his role in the movie,
Yeah.
and I
He
do
got on my
agree.
nerves, man.
Yeah,
You can tell he's really he still has that PTSD from back in the war days.
yeah, yeah. He pulled it off really well.
Hmm.
Again, just like these were soldiers in arms, brothers in arms, and the fact that like at the beginning one didn't know one was a Trump supporter and one didn't
Oh
know one
yeah.
had a daughter or a
Uh-huh.
kid, like 15-year-old teenage kid. I'm like, how good friends are they if they don't even realize this about each other?
Right.
Anyway, again, you'll enjoy it if you like Spike Lee movies. Again, long, and I just was wanting a little more.
Yeah.
Um, and the next film I saw, which was another Netflix release that came out this past weekend, is called Wasp Network. And this is an interesting one. It's an international film, and it follows the true story about a Cuban spy network that was established in the United States during the 90s. And what they did was they had people leave Cuba as refugees and pretend to be refugees in Miami and then integrate with the anti-Cuban networks there, even though they were actually still Cuban agents, and they would report back to what was going on. Um, it's it's nothing I knew about and I still don't know about, but it's kind of an interesting take on those relations during the 90s and how the Cuban government had intelligence on what was going on, and kind of a look at how these anti Cuban organizations in Miami did attacks in Cuba to kind of dissuade and to topple the government. Um, since it was based on a true story, you're getting a lot of story, but there's not really any excitement in the sense that there's a big climax to the movie. It just kind of, here's what happened during those time periods, and here's how we tell the story. I did enjoy it though, and again, it's a drama. You're not going to get a lot of that action. It's mostly subtitled, so it's all Spanish speaking for the most part. But it does give an interesting look into kind of recent history of what's going on with Cuba and the United States during that time period. So if you're looking for something a little different from an international perspective, definitely check this one out as well.
Awesome. So my first, it's not even really a feature. It's something that's streaming on Netflix, and it's the Dave Chappelle Mark Twain Award at Kennedy Center. It's basically an award ceremony for Dave Chappelle, which was, to me, a throwaway because of Dave Chappelle's Netflix package deal. And I guess they filmed it and said, hey, we'll just throw this in there because it's Dave Chappelle and there'll be some entertainment. So that went in the allotment of his little contract. I was told that when you say little, you're diminishing the thing that you're talking about. I don't want to call his accomplishment with Netflix little. It's a big deal. But they threw that in the package deal to incorporate it into what he's doing for Netflix, which I thought was awesome. It read out like a comedy special because he had special guests to come on and honor him when they were giving him the Mark Twain Award. And pretty much everyone that came on did like a little stand-up. You had Tiffany Haddish, you had Bradley Cooper, you had John Legend, he performed. Common performed, Sarah Silverman was there. Lorne Michaels said something. Eddie Murphy even came on and said something. Chris Tucker came on. So it was pretty entertaining and it was funny, and you got a chance to get a sense of who Dave Chappelle is as a person, because all of them spoke very warmly and kindly about him as it related to his character and who he is as a person and why they revere him so much. And it was awesome to watch. And there was a couple of moments where people got choked up, like his family members were there. He spoke to his mother. It was pretty entertaining. I highly recommend it if you're a Dave Chappelle fan. If you're not a Dave Chappelle fan, you probably won't like it so much, but people that are into Dave Chappelle would enjoy it. I definitely suggest check it out. The second thing that I saw was Lena Waithe's season 3 opening to The Chi. Look, she hits the ground running. This show, it was dynamic last season. And she made it a point to let you know that she's still dynamic this season with the first episode. You laugh, you cry, you cringe, and it starts off with a cliffhanger, a major cliffhanger from the first episode. So I cannot wait to see what's going on next week. I don't want to tell you exactly what's happening, but something major to the negative ends this first episode. And I also want to shout out our resident friend, Miriam Hyman, AKA Robin Hood, who is now a featured player in The Chi. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
She has a pretty meaty role in this season. So we're definitely going to try to get her on to talk more about it. And let's see, there's Yolanda Ross, Jacob Lattimore, Alex Hibbett, Sonia Son, Curtis Cook, and of course, Miriam Hyman. This cast, Lena Waithe, this show, it has weight to it. It's probably going to take away some awards if they continue the way that they started off. They're going to win some awards this season. So definitely check it out, The Chi. It's on Showtime.
Nice.
Nice. I'm watching a bunch of so shout out to Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime. They have special sections. Some call it Black Lives Matter, some call it whatever, but and they feature a lot of content about Black history and even movies. And so I've watched a lot of those. I watched something on the Black Panthers. That was awesome. That was on Prime. I watched this movie on Hulu it was about Thurgood Marshall. It was called Marshall. That was really good. I watched what's the movie Chike with Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx?
Mercy.
Watch that. That was really good. I watched another documentary. It's called I'm Not Your Negro. And it was about pretty much literature that James Baldwin had written, and they just kind of turned into a documentary. Samuel L. Jackson, he does the narration, which you can't tell it's him because he doesn't talk like he normally does. He's I think he's trying to talk like James Baldwin because it was from a first person. I watched that. I actually watched The Bodyguard yesterday. I hadn't seen that movie in years. That came off. The Bodyguard. But I'm watching a lot of things. I told you to watch Blackish. I told you on the last segment. But I do have my regular TV shows I watch. There's this one show, I cannot think of the title off the top of my head, but it's about this woman. She studied like genetics. That was a hobby of hers. And now they're using her to help solve cases, like old cases that had gone cold. It's like cases from the 80s and 90s because now they have the DNA.
It's like
Wow.
the genetic detective. Is that
Genetic
it?
detective, yeah. That's actually very interesting because these people think they got away with these murders 30 years ago. These detectives have been working on these cases for 30 years, and she comes in within a week and solves it. Because she finds she has to build, based on the genetics, build the family tree, and that it can lead them to, it gets the pull down to who it could be, and then somehow the police are able to either use old DNA or they get new DNA. Like there's one guy, he was in his truck and he threw a cigarette out. They got that tested and it was him. Wow. And so they're coming up and arresting these people and they're kind of like, like, how'd y'all find me? But yeah, that's really good too.
Steven, are you big into the detective shows or?
Not really. When I saw the trailer for it, it made me want to look at it.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, it's actually good. I was wondering, did she ever solve any black cases? She'll never work on it. But
Season 2.
Right.
Bet.
It actually reminds me of a show that I like, Stephen. It's called Cold Case, and you have this DA, and she goes back and she goes over old cases, and she goes through all the evidence, and she comes up. She has a team for every case that she gets, and the team picks apart the case to solve it.
Yeah.
Cases that have been sitting for like 10, 20 years.
Well, and the thing also for the families to get that closure after all these years, they've lost their daughter or whatever. And also, one time the person was already dead, the person that killed the whoever. Wow. And so that family doesn't really get closure, but, I don't know. But yeah, anything else, guys, for the wrap?
No, the trailer for Hamilton came out today. And again, I saw the play in real life. It's amazing. I don't like to use the word life-changing often, but it really changed my perspective on theater and plays and everything in general. Definitely check it out. Funny thing is Disney stopped giving their free 7-day trial.
I bet they do.
Because they know people are just going to do the trial to watch Hamilton. So
which reminds me, I need to cancel HBO. Insecure is over. But go ahead.
Yeah. No, definitely. But that's on the radar. That's not until July 3rd. But again, I recommend anyone to even just get the $7 subscription. It's such a good experience, and highly recommend.
Most definitely.
Yeah, and anyone out there, if you know why I should get HBO Max, please let me know why. I've been seeing some things. I'm a little curious about it, but I don't really understand the difference between HBO and HBO Max. Why should I get that? Somebody please tell me.
Good question.
So you can watch your Looney Tunes cartoons.
I can watch that on Amazon Prime, actually.
Yeah, they did say the HBO Max rollout's been like one of the most confusing things that HBO has done, and there's really no excuse for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't know what you're getting. You don't know if you have HBO Now. If you get it, like I have HBO Now on my TV through the Roku app, but on my phone, my HBO Now is now HBO Max. So I have the one subscription, but I have different offerings based on
Yes.
It's a mess.
Yes. So HBO, home box office, listen, I've been a fan of yours for quite some time. I've given you quite a bit of money. I think that I should get the Max per bono.
Oh, and shout out before we go, what's her name that plays Issa Rae's best friend on Insecure?
Yvonne Orji.
She has a special on HBO. It is hilarious. I was watching 6 o'clock in the morning the other morning, cracking up in my bed. Check that out. It's really good. Really good. Well, listen, guys, thank you as always. Let us know what to spend our time on and our money. And have a great week. We'll talk next week.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right. Right back after this.